Hi folks, welcome back to Quest for Thunder. Today's episode is basically just an update. I wanted to give you guys an update as to where we were with our search for Thunder. We've been at the search now for a little over 2 months. That's about the time when we started the YouTube channel. And as I mentioned in the video trailer for the channel and our very first episode, that we were going to be concentrating in part 1 of our Quest for Thunder series on finding the right boat for us. We've had a number of comments asking things like, why don't we lift deck plates and go into more detail about engines and those kind of things. And I wanted to answer those questions because they're important questions and they're valid questions. And I just want to say that we will be doing that sort of thing. That is definitely on the list. If you review the trailer, you'll see that we talk about part 1 being the search for the boat, and then we say part 2, 3, 4, etc. We look at more particular systems, and so engines and bilge pumps and all that sort of thing. It's all going to be in there. But right now what we're doing is we're just trying to find Thunder. And a little bit about that. Let me just talk a little bit about that. We've seen a lot of boats, and we've looked at, videotaped, photographed many different craft. The area that we live in has a tendency to have a lot of boats like Hunters and Catalinas, Beneteaus, Jeanneaus, those kind of boats. There are a number of older boats in marinas that aren't necessarily for sale that obviously run the gamut. But out of the boats that we've been seeing at open houses and that have been for sale by owner and that we've gone to look at, that's the lion's share of the type of boats that we've been seeing. And so that's probably one of the reasons why people are asking, why are you restricting yourself to a particular genre of boat when we're really not. We're willing to look at pretty much anything that's in the proper price range. But I say all that to say this, and that is that while we're looking at boats, right now our focus is on trying to figure out what feels good to us. I don't know if that makes sense to you or not. But I approach this situation of finding a boat from a different perspective maybe than, say, the weekend sailor, the guy who's going to go out on the weekend, sail around, take his family or some friends or his wife, and then come back and go back to their home. My perspective is somewhat different because once we buy this boat, we really don't have the financial means to be able to live on a boat, to have a nice boat, and live in a home on land at the same time. We're trying to find a way to reduce our footprint, if you will, and to reduce our capital outlay monthly. We want to buy the boat and live aboard the boat. We want to make it our home. So that changes the game plan dramatically in my perspective. This is just me speaking. Right now, my focus and Gene's focus and interest is in, does this boat make us feel good? Are we comfortable aesthetically with this craft? Do we feel comfortable in this volume, whatever that volume happens to be? Are we happy with the beam, the length, the layout? Is it light enough? Does it feel like a cave? Does it feel open and airy? Those are the kind of questions we're asking ourselves right now. We haven't even started asking the technical questions yet. Some of you might think, well, that's pretty stupid, because you might find a boat that meets all the criteria aesthetically, but then it's not sound in terms of mechanically or structurally. And what I say to that is that I look at boats that are in fairly good condition, and I do some research on my own before going to see a boat. For instance, I'd never seen a Dufour before. I didn't know anything about Dufour, so I did a little research online to figure out what it is about Dufours and get some statistics and some information before I bothered to go see the boat. So I do a little of that, and I don't share that with my viewing audience right now, because that's not really the intent of these videos at this particular juncture. That is certainly not to say that we won't do that, because I fully intend to share all that technical data as we start to narrow our focus and narrow down on what kind of boat we want. We've learned a lot of lessons in doing this. We certainly have figured out that there are certain types of boats that we just aren't comfortable in. Looking at boats online, I was in love with Tiana and Hans Christian and Lord Nelson because of the classic lines of these boats. These are heavy, full keel, really beefy boats. And I was just in love with the lines and how they were constructed, and the fact that they're nice, big, heavy boats. And and then of course, I took my wife to look at a Tiana, and that was a non-starter. As soon as she got on that boat, she's like, I can't do this. I can't live in this space. I feel totally uncomfortable in this space. It was a beautiful boat. The woodwork, the joinery, it was just really, really nice, but it was just not comfortable for her. And so I think I've mentioned this in the previous video where I said that we've got to take people along with us that are going to be occupying the boat with us along, in this dream, because we're going to make it a home, and obviously it's important that everybody feel comfortable. Well, this is going to be my home and Jean's home, so obviously how Jean feels about the boat is of paramount importance. I certainly wouldn't want to lose a marriage over something as silly as living on a sailboat. So it's important that we feel comfortable. So, long answer to a very short question, why aren't we looking at other things in the boats? I hope that answers the question. I hope that gives you some insight as to where we're at right now. We will start getting a lot more technical once we've decided, okay, we're going to look at this, X, Y, Z. These 3 or 4 manufacturers are really where we're going to concentrate, because we like their boats. We like the designs. We like the layouts. We feel comfortable in them. And so now we're going to go look for boats in those genres and try to figure out which one we want that suits all of our purposes and needs. And that's when we're going to start, that's when we're going to start lifting the deck plates and looking at electrical panels and, pulling up settee cushions and checking out water tanks and, crawling around on the deck and looking into lazarettes and lockers and all that sort of thing, because it becomes germane to the search at that point. Right now, I don't think it is. I don't think it's germane, because we haven't even figured out what it is we feel comfortable in. And not coming from a sailing background, we don't know that much about boats. Maybe I should have said that in the very beginning of this little video, is that we really know very little about sailboats. If you told me 2 or 3 months ago, you should look at you pick, insert name here, I would have been like, okay, what's that? Because, I wouldn't know a Beneteau from a Dufour from a Catalina at that time. So, once we figure it out, once we have our bearings and we know what we like, what's comfortable, then we'll be able to get more specific about the particulars of a particular boat. And then when that starts happening, then we'll start showing a lot more of the nitty-gritty. So I hope that's helpful. I really, really appreciate the fact that you are watching this, that you come to this channel. I appreciate those of you that subscribe. I really, really appreciate the people that comment, because, quite frankly, that's the point of all this, is to develop community and to engage in conversation and to hear your point of view, because I learned from you. I'm providing these videos because I enjoy doing it, and because it chronicles. I'm doing it more for me than I am for you, really. I mean, think about it. I'm chronicling our journey, but I'm sharing it with family, friends, and anyone else who would care to come along. And I'm opening up that venue to anyone to say, hey, check this out, check that out, look at this, look at that. It allows you to participate in shaping the direction that we go in, so that we can all arrive at the same destination together. So that wraps it up. Thank you for watching Quest for Thunder. Thank you for subscribing, and thank you for your comments. If you aren't a subscriber, please consider subscribing so that you can keep up to date with what we're doing and so that you can become a part of this community. And if you subscribe currently but you don't comment, I encourage you to comment because it really does help us. So again, thank you so much for being with us. And from the crew of Thunder, fair winds and following seas. Bye.